We know that algebra means solving equations. And in the beginning, we solved linear equations or just simplified equations. Everything that we've been doing for the last chapter and a half has been leading us to solving quadratics. And today we're going to take a look at solving quadratics by square roots. Before we do that, we're going to start off by simplifying a few squares to make sure that we understand what we're doing. So the first one is 6 squared. You should have gotten 36. The next one is a negative 14 squared. Notice that it's the negative 14 that's being squared. So it's negative 14 times a negative 14, giving you the 196. The next one, negative 9 squared. You should have gotten a negative 81. That squared goes with the 9 only, and then you're multiplying by that invisible negative 1 on the outside. 0 squared. You know that you just get 0. Next, substitute in a negative 3 for x, and then tell me what you get. Once again, 3 squared is 9, but 9 times a negative 4 gives you a negative 36. And it's not 4x that's being squared, it's just the x. If I were to give you these two squares and show you what their sides are, you'd be able to find out what the area is just by squaring. 8 squared, 64. 12 squared is 144 feet squared. Well, suppose you knew the area of each square and were asked to find the length of the side. Explain how you would do this. Find the length of a side of the square whose area is given. The area of a square that's 49 inches squared would be 7 inches on each side. Likewise, area 25 square inches would give you a length of 5 inches on each side. 36 feet squared equals 6 feet on each side. An area with 9 inches squared would be 3 inches on each side. So we know what a square root is. A square root is a number times itself that will give us a perfect square. Perfect squares are the numbers whose square roots are integers. And you know that a quadratic equation has all of its variables on the same side. If I were to ask you for the square root of 16, you would give me 4, a positive answer. If I asked for the negative square root of 289, you would tell me that it's a negative 17. And it's a negative answer because I have the negative on the outside of the square root. If I asked you for the square root of a negative 64, however, there's no real answer. It would give you an imaginary number. Now, what's different today is the fact that we are going to be using equations. So we see that it's an x squared. You know that a quadratic, if graphed, has 2 points which will cross over the x-axis. So we are looking for 2 answers. Just like an x equals equation, the linear equation would give us 1 number, an x squared should reveal 2 different roots if it does indeed cross the x-axis. So the square root of x has to equal, as an equation, we're looking for 2 answers. The square root of 625, which is 25, but it's a positive 25 and a negative 25, 2 square roots. Here's why. If I were to solve this, x squared equals 9, as an equation, the first thing that I would do I would take the square root of both sides, I'm undoing it, and I would get 2 answers. X equals 3 and x equals a negative 3. And I can write that with that symbol plus or minus. What does that mean graphically? Well, if I were to graph that equation, you would see that I have x crossing add a -3, and add a +3. Those are the zeros that we talked about last week. They're the spots where the parabola crosses over the x-axis. So now we're going to use this particular style to be able to solve some quadratics. We're going to do the same as always. We're going to isolate the variable and then solve. These are the steps that you would need to show if I asked you to show your work. Take the square root of both sides. X equals 5 and a -5. And I would write it finally as plus or minus 5. How about this one? Well, this one doesn't have the variable by itself. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides, get x squared is equal to 49, take the square root of both sides, x equals 7 and a -7, so x equals plus or minus 7. As you can see with this problem, I have x squared plus 4 equals 20. The variable is not isolated. Solve it just the same way we did in the beginning of the year. Subtract 4 from both sides. Now I have x squared is equal to 16. Take the square root of both sides. That gives us x equals 4 and a -4. Again, this has a 2, which means if I'm looking for solutions, it will have 2 solutions, 4 and -4. And I simplify that by writing x plus or minus 4 is what it's equal to. This one's just a little bit more complicated. If I were to give you this form where 0 equals -2x squared plus 80, I'm still trying to isolate the variable. Subtract 80 from both sides. Now I'm left with -80 equals -2x squared. Divide by a -2 on both sides. That gives me 40 equals x squared. Take the square root of both sides. Now, I could leave it as x equals plus or minus 40 because 40 we know is not a perfect square. It's got to be somewhere between 6 and 7 for my answer because 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, so it's got to be 6 point something. And we know that it's less than 6.5 because it's closer to 36 than it is to 49. So I can leave it just as the square root of 40. Or I could use a calculator and I can find out that it's plus or minus 6.32. Of course, it's non-terminating, so I have no idea what it's going to end up being, but that's just the first 2 digits. Or I could put it in, put it in a radical and leave it as 2 times the square root of 10, but it's plus or minus. That means I would add 2 root 10 or subtract 2 root 10 to get my answer. All right, your assignment today is on assessments. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out.